What's going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to be going over 3 reasons why your bench press will not grow and how to fix them. Let's get into it. All right, your first reason is going to be that your form is off. So this video isn't going to be to break down form or anything like that, but just a few things that I see that are very common in people. Number 1, your back isn't very tight and your shoulders are not retracted. You're not giving yourself a good base to push off of. A good cue to think of is that you're not trying to push the bar off of your chest, but you're trying to push yourself away from the bar. That's a good way to picture what I mean by that. Is your shoulders want to be retracted, your back wants to be super stable against that bench so you have a strong base to push off of. The second thing with your form that I've seen very common is that people's feet are too far out in front of them, or they're not using leg drive. So you want to keep your feet at a comfortable spot under the bench and kind of use your legs as another form of stability under the bench for you to generate force against the bar. So I tuck my legs under the bench. I'm not training for any sort of powerlifting meet or anything like that, so I don't have any regulations that I have to follow. But if you are, obviously use their guidelines. But I tuck my feet under the bench so it gives me a strong base to push away from the bar. Now the third one is going to be that you're lowering the bar too far out in front of your body. So what I mean by that is when you lower the bar, you want to be just below like nipple range, and then when the bar path comes back up, it's coming sort of up and back a little bit towards, the starting point. A lot of people tend to lower the bar too low, like almost in the upper abdomen region or somewhere in between, and that is going to cause the bar to get way out in front of you, and when the weight's out in front of you, picture you're doing a push-up but your hands are farther and farther back, opposed to where your shoulders are. So when you lower the bar out in front, you have to then push it back that much farther, and if you're going for a heavy load where you can only get like 3 to 5 reps, much less a 1 rep max, you're gonna have a really hard time with the shoulders and being able to pull that weight backwards. So your form is probably, if you tighten that up, you're gonna be able to see an increase in your bench press right away. All right, mistake number 2 is that you're not training intensely enough. So what do I mean by that? 3 sets of 10 every week is just not gonna get it done. Especially what most people do is they count their last warm-up set as their first working set. So there's a difference there. Your warm-up set's supposed to be getting you up to that first working set, however many sets it takes. So for me, I generally do 3 to 4 warm-up sets before I even start my working sets of bench press. So I usually stay around 225 pounds, and I like to do as many as I can in my first set and go to failure. Maybe 1 rep shy, depending if I have a spotter or not. I don't like to do 3 sets of 10 to 12 because if I didn't pick my weight properly and I could have gotten 15, 16, 17 reps instead of 10, and I stopped at 10, that set was completely wasted. So your sets are not as intense as they should be to see that increase. One thing to do to make your sets even more intense would be to slow the reps down. Do like a 3-second negative, or you could just do a pause set. This will help with sticking points, this will help with overall strength, this will help with time under tension, building muscle, building strength. That'll help with everything. So slow your reps down. Don't just bounce the weight off your chest. You're not helping yourself there. Another thing that you could do to work past failure, which I like working in on my last set or 2 of bench press, is a drop set or a double drop set. So I'll do it with 225 pounds, then I'll drop down to 185 pounds, and then if I do another drop, I'll drop down to 135 pounds, and it's just a good way to work past failure. So maybe you can only get, by the time it's your last set, like 5 reps of 225, you strip the weight down, put 185 on, then you can get like 6 or 7 more reps. Then you strip that off, then you can get like 6 or 7 more reps with the 135, and that'll just help you train past failure, fatigue that muscle, build that muscle after you normally stop had you done a normal set of the 5 reps of 225 pounds. So those are some good ways to move past failure. You gotta ask yourself, how intensely are you training? Do you think you could have gotten 1 more rep if I gave you $1,000 to hit 1 more? The answer is yes. You're probably not training hard enough, and you need to reevaluate how you're going to go about doing that. There's tons of ways to do it. YouTube's got all of them on there. You can find them. Just type in, how to make my set more intense, how to make my exercise harder, stuff like that. and you're gonna be able to reap the benefits from that. So I think that that's probably the biggest thing for a lot of you, is you need to understand that you're probably not training as hard as you possibly can. You're probably leaving something on the table, and when you train compounding with the third mistake that I'm about to get into, you're gonna see why it all adds up and your bench press is staying where it's at. All right, so tip number 3 is gonna be your frequency. So if you wanna make more money, I suggest you get a job. If you wanna run a marathon, I suggest you start running. If you want a bigger bench press, you have to bench press more than once per week. You have to prioritize the bench press. Bench 2 or 3 times a week. 3 times would be a lot. I recommend twice per week. That's what I do now. I've also had a bunch of shoulder injuries, which is why I do that. But I would say bench at least twice per week. Think about it this way. Is 52 bench press sessions a year good enough? No, it is not. It is not good enough. You need at least twice a week, at least 104 sessions to be able to prioritize that bench press to break through your plateau. Stop testing your 1 rep max every other week. Do focused sessions twice per week. Track it closely. Stay consistent, and you're going to be able to break through your plateau. So I can almost guarantee you that one of these 3 tips is going to be the difference between you breaking through your plateau and you not breaking through your plateau. So if you enjoyed the video or if you learned something, please leave a like and a comment below. Share the video with your friends so they can see it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.